Morning, everyone. My name's Joelle. I'm filling in for Stacey for the next few weeks. So I will be doing a couple of yoga classes. Her pooch isn't very well, so just thinking of her and hoping everything works out okay there. So my name's Joelle. I did my yoga teacher training just over 5 years ago now. I studied Ashtanga yoga. So I'm not fully up to date with how Stacey teaches, so this might be a little bit different, but the fundamentals are the same and we're still going to get the same from it, so don't worry too much. Couple of things to remember. If you have any injuries, just be aware of your body, listen to your body, make sure that you are not pushing yourself too far. We want to find that balance point where we feel as though we are pushing ourselves, but we're also not pushing ourselves too far. So we're not looking for pain, but we are looking for that slight bit of discomfort that just will allow us to make that stretch a little bit more intense and get all the goodness of moving the body. So today we'll start by doing a little bit of relaxation and then a little bit of breathing. What I'd like you to do, if you can, throughout the class is some Ujjayi breathing. So for anyone that's not familiar with that, what we want to be doing is breathing in and out of our nose throughout the class. But as we exhale, we want to constrict the throat muscles, which will create an ocean sound. The reason we do this is this helps us create heat within the body. And I know most of you are aware of hot yogas like Bikram and so on. They're all, the reason they do that is because when the muscles are hot, we have more flexibility, so we're able to push ourselves a little bit further. We can also do that ourselves, so we don't have to be in a hot room, although today is pretty hot, so probably be feeling it externally anyway. But breathing in and out of the nose and using the Ujjayi breathing is helping us to create heat within the body, and also is helping us to create an energy within the body as well. Okay, so if everyone just wants to come to a seated position, we can start with some breathing. Happy for anyone to sit either cross-legged, kneeling, or legs out in front, so whichever's going to be most comfortable for you today. Just don't put yourself in any discomfort, especially during the relaxation, because we just really want to be taking everything away from the week so far. So come to your seated position. And we want to have a nice straight back. So in order to get to this, let's just roll the shoulders back a couple of times. Right down the back. Come the opposite way. And then just one more roll back. And that's going to bring us to a nice relaxed position where we're going to look at our breathing. Okay, so I will start with the Ujjayi breath. It does sound a little bit funny, but just don't worry, don't be conscious. It is important to help create the heat within the body and help us to push ourselves a little bit further in the practice. So if we close our eyes, we'll do 5 breaths. We want to try and make sure that the inhales and the exhales are roughly the same length. So if you want to start counting, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, just go with what you can hear from my breathing. Okay, slowly open your eyes. From here, we'll just do a couple of very, very gentle warm-ups before we move into an om to open the class. So if we just take our right hand and bring it onto the left side of our face, and we're just going to let the weight of our hand give us a really gentle stretch down the left-hand side of the neck. We're not pulling at all here, it's just the weight of the hand. 2 more breaths here. And just gently release, come back to center. Roll the shoulders back again, just to neutralize. And then we're going to take the left hand, bring it onto the right side of the head. And again, we're really not pulling, we're just letting the weight of the hand give us the very gentle stretch down the right hand side of the body. And we'll do 2 more breaths here. Okay, slowly release. And just to prepare our spines, we're going to do a really gentle twist. I'm just going to turn to the side so I can show you the placement of the hand. So we're going to take the right hand, we want the palm of the hand to come as close to our palms here as we can. And then we're going to lift up with a straight arm. Bring the left hand onto the right knee. Take a nice big inhale. And then on the exhale, we're just going to twist round, taking a little bit of leverage from the hand on the right knee. Bring the shoulders round and then the eyes. Nice and gentle, keep it nice and gentle, we're just warming up. Two more breaths here. And we'll slowly release, come out of this nice and slowly. And come back to center. Roll the shoulders back again just to neutralize. And then we're going to take the left hand back as close as you can to the bottom. Bring the right hand onto the left knee. Take a nice big inhale before you move. And then exhale, we're going to twist round, letting the left shoulder come back and the head slowly follows. Use your right hand to gently pull your twist round. Two more breaths here. And slowly release. Come back to center, release nice and slowly, no rushes here. Okay, I'm just going to come back to face you. So now we've had to loosen things up a little bit and relax. And we're just going to do an om, which is going to open our class. And this is a really good time to set an intention. So is there something that you really want to have a bit of a focus on today and bring into your life? And this is a great point, especially for a morning yoga, to say, this is my intention with this yoga. I want it to bring me some focus, some determination, some learnings, It could also be a point where you can put something out for someone else. So if you know someone else who's struggling, or someone else who's got something big on today, and you just want to send them some love or some strength or some energy, just so that they can get through the day, this is a nice time to put something out. So let's just have a couple of deep breaths, just thinking about our intention. And then on the third breath, I'll do an inhale, and on the exhale, we'll do an om. If anyone wants to join in, that'd be awesome. But if you also just want to sit there and feel the vibrations of the om, that will also help us to put the intentions out and get us ready for our yoga practice. So roll the shoulders back, take a nice deep inhale. Lovely. Okay, so we'll move into our warm-up. So if we can all come onto all fours. What we want to make sure we're doing is we're stacking the hips over the knees and the wrists over the ankles. So we want nice straight lines there. We want to evenly distribute the weight between all of the fingers and the palms of the hands. So be careful not to be leaning in one position, in one particular area of the hand. We want to have even distribution of weight, and just being aware of that right from the start of the class means that once we go into our downward dogs and so on, that's something that we're always considering. You'll hear me mention quite a few times about bringing your belly button back to your spine. So this is actually locking in our core, which is really important for a lot of postures. So when you hear the reminders just to say, you know, tuck the belly button in, that's really engaging the core, and it's just important for a lot of postures. So just be aware of that reminder. Okay, so from here, we're going to take a nice big inhale. We're going to look up towards the ceiling. We're going to let the tailbone come up, and we're going to feel a really nice stretch all the way down the front of the body, from the chin all the way down. And as we take a nice big inhale, we're going to suck the belly button in, round the back, tuck the tailbone, and bring the gaze to the belly button. And then inhale, look up, nice and slowly, still warming up. Exhale, roll. Inhale, look up. Really feel that stretch all the way down the front side of the body. This is just warming up the spine as well for the movement that we're going to be doing. And then exhale, roll. Really tuck that tailbone in. I want the shoulders to come round. 2 more of these. Inhale, look up. Exhale, roll. Last one. Inhale, look up. Really push it as far as you can. Warmed up a little bit now so we can push it. And then exhale, roll. Make sure you're feeling that in the shoulders. You know, you've got the stretch on the outside of the shoulders as well. Okay, come back to neutral. And from here, we're going to go into puppy pose. So we want to keep our bums nice and high. But we're going to walk the hands forward, and we're going to bring the chest down onto the floor. Bring the forehead down and keep the bum nice and high. Reaching with the fingertips, that's going to give you a nice stretch on the inside of the armpit. And we do 3 more breaths here. Remember to keep breathing in and out of the nose. Okay, slowly start to walk the hands back towards you, and we're going to bring them into onto our forearms. From here, we're going to take the right hand and we're going to thread it underneath the gap, and we're going to try and bring the shoulder onto the floor and the ear if we can. This should bring you a nice stretch on the outside of the shoulders. So we'll do 2 more breaths here. Slowly unthread the hand, come back to center. And now we're going to take the left hand and go underneath the right arm and bring the shoulder down. Should also feel a little bit of a twist in the back on this posture, but we've warmed the spine up nicely, so it should be nice and comfortable. Two more breaths here. Slowly unthread the needle. And then we're going to place the hands down as we did in our original tabletop position. We're going to come up onto the hands and then we're going to tuck the toes and go into our first downward facing dog. It's early, so we're probably all a little bit stiff here, so let's keep a little bit of movement in it just to loosen things up. If you need to walk your feet in a little bit, that's fine. Where we want to be with the downward dog is we want to have the feet hip distance apart. Fingers nice and widely spread. We're pushing down through our heels. We're rolling the shoulders away from the ears. We're engaging the core here, so really sucking the belly button back towards the spine. And we're taking the gaze either to our belly button or to our knees, whatever works for you. 2 more breaths here. On the next inhale, look up, and we're going to slowly walk the hands towards the feet towards the hands. Bring the toes together, heels slightly apart. Take a nice inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we're going to fold again. If we need to bring a bend into the knees to touch the floor, that's absolutely fine. And then on the next inhale, we're going to reach the fingertips down and all the way up. Bring the hands together at the top. And then on the exhale, bring the hands down to prayer at heart center. Keeping the elbows in nice and close to keep the energy close. Okay, release the hands. This posture here is called Samastahiti. It's a standing posture. It's a resting posture, but it's still an active posture. So whenever we're in this posture, whenever we come to this point, we want to make sure that we're still aware of any left or right side differences, whether we're putting any pressure into any part of the foot or any side of the body. We're rolling the shoulders back, we're releasing the hands, and then we'll end up doing a couple of breaths here in between postures. Also a good time to have a little drink if you need a drink, or just to be aware of how your body's feeling during the class. We'll start with some sun salutations. We'll do Surya Namaskara A 3 times, and then we'll move into a variation of that before we go into the postures of the class. So again, if we can, we want to try and keep the ujjayi breathing here to create the heat within the body and warm up all of the muscles. If you're not a regular yogi, then it's really common to lose that train of thought and to then, you know, realize that you're not breathing. But every time you realize that you're not doing the breathing in and out the nose, just bring it back. And you will find, as the more you practice, the more, every time that you bring that breathing back and breathe it through your nose, that what will happen is that will become part of a natural thing that you do. But it takes a little bit of time, so be patient with that. So toes together, heels slightly apart. We're going to reach the fingertips down and all the way up. Gaze up towards the hands. And then on the exhale, we're going to fold forward and bring the hands down to the floor. Inhale, look up, lengthen. And then exhale, plant the hands and come back into the plank. Shoulders over the wrists. We're going to come down into chaturanga. If you want to bring the knees down, that's absolutely fine, but keep the elbows close. Release the toes and we're going to push up into a gentle upward dog. We're just going to start off easy, just to warm up a little bit further on this one, because it's quite a big back bend when you go into full upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, we're going to come into downward facing dog. Adjust the feet, but try and keep the hands in the same position, equal distribution. We're pushing the heels down towards the ground and we're rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Engage the core, so pull the belly button back towards the spine and the gaze to the knees or the belly button. We'll do 2 more breaths here. Inhale, look up. Slowly walk the feet between the hands. Inhale, look up, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. Remember, you can have a bend in your knee here if you need to. Reach the fingertips down and all the way up. Full body stretch. Bring the hands together. And then on the exhale, bring the hands to heart center. And keep the elbows close to the body. Okay, release the hands, come to Samastahiti, and we'll have a couple of breaths here. Just check the body, check how it feels, check you're not leaning from one side to the other or have more weight in one foot than the other. Just try and equalize everything out and just be really aware of where you are in your body. And the next inhale, you're going to do the same again, so reach the fingertips down and all the way up. On exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. And then exhale, step back into your plank. I'll show you the variation here if you're in your plank, and we're going to move down chaturanga. If it's too much to come down from up high, we can bring the knees down first and lower ourselves down. Just remember to keep the elbows tight to the body. We don't want the elbows spraying out like this. From here, we're going to release the toes and come into our upward facing dog, a little bit higher than last time now. And we're going to take the gaze up towards the ceiling, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. On the next inhale, tuck the toes, exhale into downward facing dog. Adjust yourself, bring yourself to where you feel comfortable in your downward dog. And we're going to do 3 more breaths here. Check that core's nice and engaged. belly button pulling back towards your spine. One more breath. On the next inhale, walk the feet between the hands. And then inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Reach the fingertips down, all the way up. Hands meet at the top. And then bring, on the exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Okay, and release. Give yourself a few minutes in that breath. Again, just check where your body's at. One more like that. Reach the fingertips all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Step back into your plank. Bring your shoulders over your wrists and then lower yourself down. Remember the modification if you need it. And then release the toes, come up into a full upward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears, knees off the floor if we can. And then tuck the toes, come into your downward facing dog. So little reminders here for you, even distribution of weight, pushing the heels down towards the floor, gaze to your knees or your belly button, shoulders rolled away from the ears, and engage the core, pulling the belly button back to the spine. Two more breaths here. On the next inhale, look up, walk the feet between the hands. And then on the next inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Reach the fingertips down, come all the way up. As you inhale, and then on the exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. And release. Okay, so couple more sun salutations, just with a slight variation. So we're going to start to work into the legs a little bit more. So starting the same, we're going to reach the fingertips down, hands come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Step back into your plank. Lower yourself into chaturanga. Push yourself up into upward facing dog. Release the toes. Tuck your toes, come into your downward facing dog. Make sure you reset here. And then we're going to bring the right foot forward between the hands. Left foot comes to 90 degrees. And we're going to cartwheel the hands up into warrior. You want to make sure the knee is over the ankle, but doesn't extend further. You want to be pushing the weight into the left, outside left foot. And we want the arms to be as parallel as we can. So if you do have a mirror around, do check, because it's quite easy to have a slightly higher shoulder or lower shoulder in this position. Okay, nice big inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to cartwheel the hands down either side. Release the right foot. Come back to your plank. Lower yourself into your chaturanga. Push yourself up into upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Reset into downward facing dog. And then the left foot comes forward, right foot to 90 degrees. Cartwheel the hands into your warrior. Just a few checkpoints again. Knee over ankle. Pushing down through the outside of the right foot. And trying to get a straight line across the shoulders and the hands. Nice big inhale. Cartwheel the hands down. Bring the left foot back to meet the right. Shoulders over wrists. Lower yourself down into chaturanga. And push yourself up to upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog. Move the feet here. You should really start to be warming up now. If you want to have a little bit more of a wriggle in this one, move around as much as you need. Two more breaths here. On the next inhale, look up. Walk your feet between your hands. Toes together. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Reach your fingertips. Come all the way up. Hands come together. And then on the exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Couple of minutes here in Samastahiti. Roll the shoulders back. Check where your body's at again. Okay, one more Surya Namaskara, sun salutation. We're going to move in the same way, just a slight variation. Reach the fingertips down, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Step back into your plank. Remember your variation, so if you are starting to get a little bit tired, come onto the knees and then lower yourself down into chaturanga. Release the toes, come into upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, come into downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to bring the right foot between the hands, left foot comes to 90 degrees. We're pushing through the outside left foot. And then we're going to come up into warrior again. From here, we're going to flip the hands up. And we're going to lean forward, come into reverse warrior, just to give us a stretch down the right side of the body. Cartwheel the hands down, either side of the foot. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Lower yourself into chaturanga. Push yourself up into upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog. Left foot comes forward. Right foot to 90 degrees. Cartwheel the hands, come up into warrior. Turn the hands facing up. Lean forward slightly. Come into reverse warrior. Reaching those fingertips, feeling that stretch all the way down the left side of the body. Cartwheel the hands down. Bring the left foot back to meet the right. Lower yourself down. Up into upward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog. We'll do a couple of breaths here. Remember, if it's getting a bit much, you can go into a child's pose at any time. If you're in your downward dog, remember to be pushing through the heels, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, engaging the belly button. Inhale, look up. Walk the feet between the hands. And then on the next inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands come together. And then bring the hands down to the heart center on the exhale. And release. Okay, so we should all really be starting to feel the heat now. It's a hot day anyway. So just have a little drink of water if you need it. Okay, so starting at the front of our mat, toes together, heels slightly apart. We're going to take the right foot back into a wide leg stretch. And we want to bring the left foot parallel with the short edge of the mat. And we're going to point the right foot towards the opposite short edge. Okay, we want to keep the hips to the side slightly here. We're not quite rotating them round. If we were going to do that, we would turn this foot in slightly, but for this posture, we want that foot to be parallel, so we want the hips to be facing the side. We're going to take a nice big inhale, bring the arms up parallel with the floor. Rotate the hands outwards. Take a nice big inhale again. And then on the exhale, we're just going to bring the right hand onto the inside of the right ankle and the left hand goes up. We're reaching up and down with opposite hands here. And then we're going to take the gaze up towards the ceiling, towards the hand. Keep rolling this hip back so it's not coming forward, and that should intensify the stretch on the inside of the leg. Two more breaths there. Inhale, come up. From here, we're just going to swap the feet round. So we're going to bring the right foot in, left foot comes out. Take a nice big inhale. Hands rotate forward as we exhale. And then we inhale again. And the left hand comes onto the inside of the left ankle. Right hand comes up. We're really trying to make sure that we're rolling this shoulder back and getting our arms in as much of a straight line all the way down here that we can. Keeping the posture active, so we're reaching up and reaching down. We take the gaze up to the right hand and we'll do two more breaths here. Nice and slowly come up. And then we're going to bring the right foot to meet the left foot at the top of the mat. Come back into Samasthiti. Roll the shoulders back. Take a couple of nice breaths here. Again, just checking where your body's at. Okay, so we're going to do a vinyasa in between the postures just to keep our body nice and warm. So we're going to reach the fingertips down, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Place the hands, come back into the plank. Lower yourself into chaturanga and push yourself up into upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog. Reset here, and then we're going to slowly walk the hands up. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, so moving into the next posture, we're going to take the right leg wide again. Left foot parallel with the short edge of the mat again, and right foot again, pointing towards the opposite edge of the mat. We need to have our legs a little bit further apart than the previous posture. So you might need to just move the foot forward slightly. We want, when we bring the knee down, we want the knee to be above the ankle. but not over. This is too much. Just to here, so just adjust your foot as you need to. We're going to bring the right elbow onto the right knee. We're going to take a nice stretch all the way down the left side of the body. Take the gaze up towards the right left hand. Might make you a little bit wobbly, but just concentrate on the breath. Two more breaths here. Inhale, come back up. I'm going to swap the feet round, try and keep the same distance between the feet because that will help you go into it in the same way. You're going to bring the left knee down so the knee's above the ankle. Come onto your right knee with your right arm. Take a nice big reach out and reach those fingertips away. We're trying to get one straight line all the way down the right side of our body. So it's important to be pushing into the outside right foot, pushing that part of the foot into the mat, reaching with those fingertips on the right hand, gaze up towards the hand. Two more breaths here. Okay, come back to standing, and we're going to bring the right foot back to meet the left foot at the front of the mat. Okay, so one more standing posture before we move through a vinyasa onto the floor. So this is called Prasarita Padottanasana. This posture is basically wide leg stretch. So I'm going to take the right leg back. Again, similar distance to how you've been before, but with this one we're going to keep both feet parallel. So it's quite important that we don't splay our feet out here. And this is something that people do quite naturally. So just be aware of that, and you might have to bring your feet in even slightly further than you think to ensure that the outside of your foot is aligning with the outside of the mat, and that's on both sides. So from here, we want to be, what we don't want to do here is we don't want to roll. So we don't want to bring the shoulders forward first. We want to bring the chest forward first, so we want to keep the shoulders back. So we're going to bring the hands onto the hips and just feel that kind of fold in your hips there. That's where we want to be folding, rather than bringing the shoulders down. So we're not arching the back at all, we're keeping a nice straight back. So nice big inhale, and then fold at the hips, keeping the shoulders back, so with the chest leading. Okay, and as we come here, we're going to take each of the elbows into the hands, and we're going to let the head drop down. We're using the weight of the head here to give us a little bit of an intensified stretch across the hamstrings. And if you want to bring a little bit more of a stretch in, just roll slightly onto the balls of your feet. Very slightly. Release the shoulders. Do two more breaths here. Okay, we're going to release the hands down onto the mat, and we're just going to take the right knee into a bend and give us a bit of an extra stretch. Here you should really feel this on the inside of the left leg. Just go as far as is comfortable for you. And then we're going to slowly move back onto the left knee, stretching the right side slightly. One more on each side. Take an inhale as you move, and an exhale as you deepen into the stretch. Okay, come back to center. Bring the hands back onto the hips. We want to engage the core. We're going to come all the way up the same way we went in, shoulders back, nice straight back. All the way up. We're going to bring the right foot to meet the left foot at the top of the mat. Toes touching. And to keep the heat in, we're going to do a quick vinyasa. So inhale, hands come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Step back into your plank. Lower yourself into chaturanga. Push yourself up into upward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the toes. Come into downward facing dog. Remember to get into your position and reset before we look up on the inhale. Bring the feet back to the center. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. And then come all the way up. Hands meet. And exhale as you bring the hands back to your heart center. Okay, moving back into the wide leg stretch. We're just going to take this a little bit further. If you guys feel as though the previous stretch was enough for you, just go back into that same position. Otherwise, what I'd like you to do is interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll the shoulders back. Try and get a nice equal roll on both shoulders. This might allow you to bring the palms of your hands together. So if you can do that, bring the palms of your hands together, but if not, don't worry. Check the alignment of your feet. So we're just checking that we've got outside of the feet parallel with the mat. Nice big inhale, roll the shoulders, and then on the exhale, we're going to fold at the hips again, keeping the shoulders back so that we're coming down with a nice straight back. If it feels good for you to bring the hands over slightly, that will intensify your stretch again. Want the gaze to be between the feet. Breathing into the posture. Okay, so on the next inhale, we're going to engage the core, come up the same way we went in, nice straight back. When we get to the top, slowly release the hands if that's where we went with it. And the hands a little bit of a shake, shoulders a little bit of a roll, just to loosen that up because it's quite intense. And then we're going to bring the right foot to meet the left at the front of the mat. Okay, so we're going to do a vinyasa down to sitting, but in between we're going to do a pigeon in the vinyasa, so just look for that variation. So nice big inhale, fingers pointing down, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Step back into your plank. Shoulders over the wrists. Down in your chaturanga. Push yourself up into upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Come into your downward facing dog. Then from here, we're going to bring the right knee towards the right hand. And the left foot comes as high up as it can towards the left hand. We're going to release the toes and let the foot slide back and come into our pigeon. So if this is where you want to stay, this is absolutely fine. But if you want to intensify that further at all, we can come onto the elbows. We can put two fists together and bring our head down onto our hands. Or we can bring the head all the way down to the floor. Just work with whatever's good for you. Sometimes it's nice to move in between the variations depending on how you're feeling. Two more breaths here. You just want to relax into it on the exhales. Just be wary if you've got any hip changes. So we do naturally fall onto one side in this posture, so try and keep the hips nice and equal. On the next inhale, push up. Tuck the toes under. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Lower yourself into chaturanga. Push yourself up into upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Come into your reset of a downward facing dog. And then we're going to bring the left knee up to meet the left hand and the right foot to come up as close as you can to the right. Untuck the toes and the right foot slides back. And again, go into whatever part of this posture feels good for you. Just try and make sure we're keeping the hips in one line. We're not rolling over to one side. It's easy to roll over to one side in this posture, so just be aware of that. Okay, so come into wherever is comfortable for you. Take your breathing in and out your nose. And then on every exhale, we're just releasing a little bit further into the pose. Just relaxing into it. This is a restorative pose, so it does allow you just to let the weight of your body push you a little bit further into the pose. Last breath. Okay, nice and slowly come out. Place the hands down. We're going to tuck the toes and bring the left foot slowly back to meet the right. Come into your downward facing dog. Let's just give the knees a little bit of movement. Then from here, we're going to bring the right knee up again, followed by the left knee. And then we're going to come into sitting. Okay, so again, if cross legs not good for you, bring the legs forward. Let's have a little drink. Take a little moment just to check where your body is and how it feels in this seated position. This is called Dandasana. So this is the posture that we come into between seated postures. And it's just a good opportunity just to check we're not leaning to one side or putting more weight on one part of the body. Okay, so from here, we're going to make sure that we've got a nice straight back, toes coming back towards us. I'm going to take a couple of breaths in an active Dandasana. Okay, so bring the feet onto the floor, knees up. And we're going to go into a boat pose. So there's a couple of variations that we can do on this. We're going to do it for 3 breaths, and we're going to do 3 rounds. So move through the modifications depending on how you're feeling at the time. We want to be on our sit bones. Hands can come underneath the knees. And we're going to rock until we find that balancing point. And this is the first variation. Second, we're going to release the hands. And third, we're going to straighten the legs. So whichever is going to work for you at the moment. Remember to be engaging your core and careful not to be rolling your back, rolling your shoulders forward or arching your back. We want to have a nice straight back and really work from the core. This is a really, really good core posture. Okay, so nice big inhale. We're going to come up into the balance. Wherever is comfortable for you, just push yourself as far as you need to today. If you're compromising and bringing a roll into the shoulder by pushing into a further version, just come back to the one that you're in before, because better to get the posture right than to extend further than you need to. And release. Okay, so have a think about how strong you're feeling. If you're feeling strong enough to go into maybe releasing the hands, or if you were releasing the hands before, maybe you can move into straight legs, but keep that core nice and strong and the shoulders back, so we've got a nice straight back. So inhale, come into your posture. 3 breaths here. Slowly release. A couple of breaths here. Final version coming up. Okay, hands come underneath. Gauge the core, nice straight back. Inhale, lift. And release. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to come onto our backs. And we're going to go into roll down. Release the feet. And we're going to come into a deep hip opening stretch here. So bring the knees up. And we're going to take the hands onto the outside of the foot. So we're going to go into happy baby posture. So this is always a funny one. I feel a bit awkward in this one. So bring the knees up and we're going to take the hands onto the outside of the feet. If that's too much for you, the shins are fine, or even just under the legs. But the aim here is to make sure that we are pulling the feet down so that the knees come into the armpits. That's where the stretch is. Flex the feet. I'm going to do 3 more breaths here. Pulling down on the exhale to intensify the stretch. And release the legs. Come back up to sitting. Come back into your Dandasana. Just check where all of your body is. Check your left and right side differences. Okay, so the main posture for this yoga is going to be a shoulder stand today. We're going to do 10 breaths in there, in that posture. But just before that, we're going to do a bridge just to kind of get the shoulders and neck a little bit ready for the main posture. So roll down. We're going to bring the feet towards the bottom, so it should be really arm's length. So if you can bring your heels up to meet the tips of your fingers, that should be the perfect distance of where your feet should be. Okay, so we're just going to lift the hips up. We want to try and keep the bum nice and relaxed and use the legs and the core to be lifting it up. So think top of the body rather than pushing from the underneath. So nice big inhale, lift the legs up. Try and keep that bum nice and loose. Pushing the hips up. Important not to move the neck around in this position. We want to keep looking forward. If you feel the knees going out, let's just keep bringing the knees together to hip distance. 2 more breaths here. Slowly release. Let the legs come out. And from here, we're going to move into our final posture. So we want to make sure again that we don't move the neck once we've moved into this posture. So keep the head facing forward all the time. It's really important because we are putting some pressure on our neck. not to be having a twisted neck at all. So we're going to bring the feet in towards us. We want to bring the elbows as close in as we can, almost tucking them under here. Keep the neck facing forward, and we're going to bring the feet up and come into our shoulder stand. We want the elbows to come as close as they can together, but they will start sprayed out. As you practice this posture, they will end up coming closer in together. We're going to do 8 more breaths here. Okay, nice and slowly bring the hips down. Bring the feet down onto the floor and let the legs go out. From here, we're going to sit up, we're going to come onto our front, just to do a quick counteracting posture to that shoulder stand. So we have been kind of contracting all of the area around the neck, so we want to have a little bit of a stretch out. So come onto your front, we're going to go into Cobra. So this isn't an upward facing dog. Cobra, we're using the back muscles here, so we're actually engaging the back muscles that have previously been constricted, sorry. And so we want to, the hands are in front of us, but they're really just for guidance. We shouldn't be pushing. We should almost be able to lift the hands off. It's just for a little bit of support. So inhale, lift up. Legs come together, engage the legs, and we're just lifting up. And the hands should be able to come off just to show that we're not pushing at all. Take the gaze up towards the ceiling. 2 more breaths here. Okay, release. We're going to come back into child's pose. So bring the knees nice and wide. Bring the bum onto the ankles, reaching the fingertips. And then here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to bring the hands back the opposite way and just let them relax. And actually get the weight of our shoulders, just give us a little bit of a stretch across the top of the back. Nice and gentle. Okay, slowly push up. One more counteracting posture for that shoulder stand. Bring the feet out in front and come into your Dandasana. Quick check of where you are with the body. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring the right knee up so that it's just above the knee. We're going to bring the right hand behind us again, like we did with the gentle twist at the beginning. Extend that arm, and then we're going to bring the right arm up and over. And we're going to do a slightly more intense stretch. Once we're in this position, we're going to inhale, and then exhale, we're going to twist. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. One more here. Release. Come back to center, come back into your Dandasana, reset, check where the body is. And then we're going to bring the left knee up and move into our twist on the left hand side. So left hand comes behind, close to the body as we can. Inhale, we're going to lift up with the right hand. Exhale, bring the right hand on the outside of the left knee. And then inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. 2 more breaths here. Pushing it a little bit further on the exhale. Slowly come out of the twist. Release the body. Check the position and the body in your Dandasana. Check if we've got a shoulder slightly out. Try and bring them in down level. And then we're going to slowly roll down to our Shavasana. Okay, so in the Shavasana, we're going to bring the feet apart slightly, so heels facing each other, toes sprawled out to the side, hands by our sides and facing up. We're going to close the eyes and we're going to release that Ujjayi breath now. So we just want to bring the breath back to just a normal breath. No effort needed. Just relax into your normal breath. We're going to close the eyes, and as we close the eyes, we're going to take another scan of the body, full scan of the body. We're looking for any left or right side differences. Make any adjustments you need now. Let the shoulders sink into the floor. Let go of everything. Let the back sink into the floor. We're just going to take a couple of minutes here to end the practice. Okay, so you can stay here a little bit longer, as long as you want. Or if you want to come back up to sitting, we can slowly start bringing ourselves back to the room. Take the hands above the head and we're going to do a full body stretch. You want the fingertips and the toes reaching in opposite directions. Nice big inhale here. Bring the knees up. And then we're just going to roll onto the right side. And stay here for a moment. As long as you like. And when you're ready, just push yourself back up to sitting. Come to your comfortable sitting position, whatever that one's been. Okay, so if you've come up to sitting, we're just going to finish the class with an arm, so you can either join in or just feel the vibration. We're going to roll the shoulders back, down the back. That should be a lot looser than when we first started this morning there. Okay, so we'll do 3 inhale exhales just to end the class, and on the third one we'll do an arm. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.